Hello everyone, welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Looking here at your afternoon update, we have some significant storms moving across the United States over the next 7 to 10 days. We'll be breaking them down, and also an Arctic invasion that will be invading the US with some very cold air as we get into the middle of January. If you are new to the channel and not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America and help me get to 75,000 subscribers. And you can help me get there by subscribing and also liking the video down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking at our current weather conditions across the United States as we go through the late morning, early afternoon hours here, we have some snow across the northern high plains into the central plains here right now. The rainfall and thunderstorm activity starting to pop off across eastern Oklahoma, getting down here into Arkansas, East Texas, and Louisiana. And looking here at our current weather alerts, look at the paint it shows across the United States. We have winter storm warnings in pink, winter weather advisories in purple. We even have blizzard warnings back here in the oranges across the Front Range into the Central Plains. Wind advisories down here widespread from Texas all the way over here in toward the southeast, and flooding alerts for the I-95 corridor with heavy rain on top of that snowpack with this system. So breaking it down piece by piece as we go into tonight, the snow that's back here into the northern and central plains will be lifting into the Midwest as we go into tonight. Iowa will start to see some moderate to heavy bands of snow, southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, and then up here towards Chicago as well, especially the western suburbs, starting to see some very heavy snow going into tonight, whereas we're seeing severe weather and heavy rain further to the south across the southeast. Into your Tuesday, look at this low, 982 millibar low across the Illinois Valley, deformation snow band breaking out across Wisconsin, northern Illinois, getting into east central Iowa and northern Missouri here, and then a dry slot starts to move into the western Ohio Valley with a little bit of a break there. Very windy conditions though on Tuesday, and then a big line of storms starting to move across the southeast with severe weather on Tuesday. As we get to Tuesday night, notice the low is still strengthening to a 974 here, the dry slot making it all the way into southeastern Canada. Heavy snow still breaking out there across the western Great Lakes into southeastern Canada there, and then possibly some snow up here as well into northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and much of Maine, and then rain for that I-95 corridor on top of that snowpack we just seen with our latest snowstorm, so that will be concerning with itself. Looking at your snowfall accumulation in inches now through your Wednesday time frame, this takes you through January 10th. Widespread snowpack here of about 8 to 12 inches expected from northern Michigan, the UP of Michigan, all the way through Wisconsin, northern Illinois, getting into Iowa, northern Missouri, and then back through Nebraska, northern Kansas, and then back into the Front Range here into southeastern Colorado. And looking at the winds, these are your 850 millibar winds, just a few thousand feet off the ground, and some of this will be mixing down to the surface here out of the northwest into the western and southern plains as we go into tonight. We could be seeing widespread winds of 40 to 60 miles per hour out here, or even stronger at times as we go into tonight, and then that will lift up into the Midwest on Tuesday. So not only will we be seeing snow, but blowing and drifting snow with our very strong winds gusting over 40 miles per hour through much of Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, and then getting up into Wisconsin and northern Illinois through the day on Tuesday. So treacherous travel is expected. Moderate to major travel disruptions anywhere you see in the yellows, oranges, reds here. Very high travel impacts across this region, through the Midwest, the Great Lakes, all the way back into the central and southern plains. If you are traveling or a truck driver, for example, across this region, make sure you stay tuned to the latest weather forecast through the next 48 hours. And we're looking at the severe weather side of this system. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather down here into Houston, Lake Charles, New Orleans, getting into Mobile, Alabama today. We have a significant severe weather outbreak likely with significant tornadoes possible. You can see a 10% area here in the yellow, and these hatch marks mean there could be a strong or violent tornado today with an EF2 or stronger type of tornado across the Mobile area, New Orleans, Lake Charles, and then all the way back to the Houston Metroplex. And the threat for some hurricane force wind gusts is another threat for the New Orleans region, Mobile, maybe getting over toward Panama City with this setup. And you can see our mid-level jet stream. This is your 500 millibar mid-level jet today into tonight, really cranking on the southeast side of this low, turning up to the north. That means we have more of a negatively tilted trough starting to develop here. Very strong low-level winds in the low-level jet and the 850 millibar layer. That's definitely going to be screaming tornado genesis down here across the deep south. So any one of these storms could be bringing the threat for tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail with this setup. So going into this afternoon, we have widely scattered showers and storms, possibly some supercells mixed in here this afternoon, mainly across Arkansas, Louisiana, getting into Mississippi, and perhaps southwestern Alabama. As we go into tonight, we're going to see a broken line of strong to severe storms very near the coast and a little bit inland here, possibly as far north as the Birmingham, Tuscaloosa region, Montgomery, Mobile, and then over here toward northwest Florida, really watching out for that tornado and damaging wind risk as we go through tonight. And then a big old line of some thunderstorms moving across Alabama, western Georgia, into northwest Florida for your Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning commute could be a little bumpy out here across the southeast for sure. And then as we go into Tuesday, another big area of severe weather from the Carolinas down through Georgia into Florida here with a slight to an enhanced risk again. That's a level 2 and 3 out of 5 across these areas, and more significant tornado potential, not only for the eastern Carolinas, but also portions there of southeastern Alabama, southwest Georgia, and northwest Florida, and everywhere in between. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Also significant winds, hurricane force gusts, 75 miles per hour or stronger for the eastern Carolinas, southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama, and northern Florida through the day on Tuesday. And looking at Tuesday morning commute out here, Atlanta, further east into Macon, Georgia there, western South Carolina, western North Carolina could be a little rough here as we start off the morning on Tuesday with a big line of storms producing damaging winds and embedded tornado potential. Then as we go into the Tuesday afternoon time frame, peak daytime heating, that'll be pushing across the eastern Carolinas down in toward the Savannah, Georgia region near the coast, and then down toward Jacksonville and Tampa. We'll be keeping an eye on those storms on your Tuesday afternoon. And then finally, by Tuesday night, we can say goodbye to the severe weather threat as that cold front passes off of the East Coast. Looking at our rainfall amounts, though, it's going to be packing a punch across the eastern 2/3 of the country. We could be talking widespread 2 to 4, 5 inches of rain as across the East Coast, including, though, that I-95 corridor. So flash flooding is real, and this could be a potential with a slight to moderate risk of flash flooding down here toward the deep south, especially near New Orleans, Hattiesburg, and then up there toward the Mobile area for today into tonight. Then that lifts up across the East Coast, a large slight risk of flash flooding and a moderate risk of flash flooding encompassing portions there of Connecticut, southern New York, getting into northern New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and all the way down through the Washington, D.C. area and into northern Virginia, and then a small moderate risk here in the tri-state area of North and South Carolina and northeastern Georgia Tuesday into your Wednesday time frame. Then we have a little bit of a lull in the action on Wednesday, and then as we go into Thursday, our next storm will be dropping off into the Four Corners region. You can see that with a new trough moving in. That'll be moving in across the deep south on Friday before ejecting up into the Great Lakes region and southeastern Canada as we get into this upcoming weekend on Saturday, January 13th. And you can see on Thursday some heavy snows breaking out once more across the Central Plains, back into the Four Corners region, and even into the Pacific Northwest. That will be moving its way across the southern tier of the country and then lifting into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley with some heavy snows on your Friday time frame. And how far north that range snow line gets is a question mark at this point. We will continue to keep you updated. But then there's that energy moving into southeastern Canada on your Saturday time frame, and then a new storm will be coming in behind that. So just a very active weather pattern moving through the rest of January. And looking at our temperatures, we have an Arctic invasion on the way, potentially the coldest in a couple of years across the United States. Look at that floodgate of very cold Arctic air, temperature anomalies well below normal for your Saturday time frame, bleeding down into the northern Rockies, the northern high plains, and into the Midwest. And then look at that, dropping all the way to the Rio Grande Valley in southern Texas on Monday next week, and then all the way to the Gulf Coast potentially with those below normal temperatures. And it's going to be enhanced by our snowpack. So by next Monday, a week from today on the 15th of January, here's our snow line. It's going to be moving further south. You can see a decent snowpack setting up in Kansas, Missouri, the Illinois Valley here in the land of Lincoln, through portions of Indiana, Ohio, and then through the interior Northeast. And that's just going to enhance the cold further to the south. You can see here's your high temperatures a week from today on Monday, January 15th. We're going to struggle to reach freezing in Dallas, Fort Worth there at 27, 19 degrees for a high in Amarillo. And yes, we could be on either side of zero in the single digits across the upper Midwest and the northern high plains as we go into your Monday afternoon. And you factor in the wind chill with those winds out there, we could be seeing daytime wind chills into the 15 to 25 below range across the northern tier of the United States and southern Canada. And then low temperatures waking up Tuesday morning on the 16th, we could be seeing double-digit below zero temperatures across the Ohio Valley, into the Midwest, all the way down into the teens for lows across North Texas through the deep south here. So very cold start to your Tuesday morning next week. And factoring in the winds there, here's your potential wind chills next Tuesday morning. We could be down to near 30 below in a lot of these areas here across the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, and the upper Midwest, with even single-digit wind chills all the way down toward the Gulf Coast and the Rio Grande Valley by your Tuesday morning next week. And looking at those frostbite times, when you have 20, 30, 40 below wind chills out there, folks, that could mean it takes only 10, 15 minutes for frostbite to set in on exposed skin. So make sure you are bundling up in layers heading out the door next week as that Arctic invasion does move in to southern Canada and the United States. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button down below for detailed weather breakdowns moving forward in these updates at times as well. I do appreciate that, and each and every one of you guys for following me on this channel. Make sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Monday out there.